Good afternoon, Cowboys Nation. You've got Mack Davis here from Fans First Sports Network and Boom Broadcasting with our new show, Starstruck. People are going to wonder why the name. Is it the song? Thunderstruck happens to be my favorite song of all time. But that's not the inspiration. Is it Cowboys that I've met? Whether it be Michael Parsons, Trayvon Diggs, Sam Williams, Leighton Vander Esch, Rocket Ishmael. What a dude. Noah Brown. People within the organization, whether it be commentators, whether it be media analysts like Mickey Spagnola. What inspired the name for our new show, Starstruck? The reason I thought of that is because of everything you can think about is becoming a fan. You know, I became a fan of the Dallas Cowboys at a very young age. And I remember the way it was they were playing the Washington Redskins and we were visiting my uncle. My dad and I were. And my uncle was a big Redskins fan. Of course, sibling rivalries. My dad, he wasn't really into football per se, but he was going to rib with his brother. And they were arguing, and Dad was pulling for the Cowboys, and my uncle was pulling for the Redskins. Now, folks, rest assured, my dad did become a Dallas Cowboy fan. Whether it was prior to that or afterwards, he definitely became a Cowboys fan. Actually went with me to my very first game back last year. We won the Super Bowl. We got to go see them play the Redskins in Dallas and sit front row in the end zone. And got to meet James Washington as he come over and talked to the crowd. I think at that time he had actually switched to the Redskins, if I'm not mistaken. But and was playing for them. But, got to see Bill Bates staying in the team hotel, different ones. That was just wonderful of an experience. But my uncle was, he was trying to get me to pull for the other team, with the red uniforms and stuff. And my dad was like, no, he's not doing this to my son. And so he called me over there. He said, son, do you ever play Cowboys and Indians? And I was like, oh yeah, Dad, all the time. I was a little kid, right? And he goes, do you ever shoot bow and arrows or do you shoot guns? I said, I'm a cowboy. He goes, well, that's them right there. You see, they got that star on their helmet. That's the reason, because I was struck by the star. And I've been a fan ever since. I passed that lineage down to my sons. My wife wasn't really into football when we got married, but we got one rule in my house. You don't pull against the Dallas Cowboys, period. One of my prized possessions right here, as you can see, is Ezekiel Elliott signed jersey. And you got a picture of my home, my second home up there. When it was originally built, it was called Cowboys Stadium. Now it's known as AT&T. It's just becoming a fan. Sports has so many outlets out there for you. And I don't care if you pull for what used to be the Redskins, the Commanders, the Giants, the Eagles, the Steelers, or whoever the case may be. Be a fan, be a loyal fan. Okay? My heart goes and bleeds blue. I tell my kids, I says it's 3D in my house. Duke, Dallas, and Davis. You can't go wrong. Shout out to the Dudley boys with Team 3D. For those watching on Fans First Sport Network, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be back momentarily. Welcome back to Starstruck with Mack Davis. As you can see, my what used to be Twitter X handle down there at 46 Cowboys Nation is on the screen. Shout out to me. Let me know what you're thinking. Give me some comments. I will definitely address those on future episodes. And I would love to have, as I was talking to you just briefly about becoming a fan and my experience there, I would love to hear from you, your experiences, and maybe actually have some of you on as a guest commentator on the show at some future point. When I get a little bit more in depth on this technology stuff, I'm struggle, but I want to talk to you about ownership. As you know, Jerry Jones, our owner and CEO, general manager, gets a lot of flack, and rightfully so. The team has not been to the Super Bowl. They haven't had postseason success in a while. They haven't been to a Super Bowl in several years. And that not every team goes there. And you have down periods, ebb and flows in your organization. Unfortunately, as a Cowboys fan, we were spoiled. We had great success in the 70s. We had great success in the 90s. And, we're expecting success again. We've had talented teams and great players come through the organization, just hasn't met the ultimate goal. Hopefully that drought will end soon. A lot of people talk about, well, you haven't made it to the NFC Championship. And like I keep telling my son, Michael, I'm like, son, I'm telling you, if you go to the NFC Championship and you lose, that doesn't mean anything for next year because 1/3 of your team's going to be gone. It's only the one that wins the Super Bowl. And right now it's been the Kansas City Chiefs that have predominantly won over the last several years. So yeah, Dallas going out in the wild card round, division round, or NFC Championship really doesn't matter. Even the Super Bowl. If you make it to the Super Bowl and you don't win it, are you going to really celebrate that? I'm not. I'll be glad that we made it that far, and I'll get that little glimmer of hope that we're that much closer. But in our reality, it changes from year to year. You've seen teams go to the Super Bowl and lose and then struggle the next year, struggle for the next couple years. Again, it matters only if you win the Super Bowl in the NFL. There's one team and one fan base that walks away. Only other fan bases that walk away great is the ones that either win it, some money on it, or they are celebrating like my household did when the Kansas City Chiefs or a team beats the Eagles, the Commanders, or the Giants. If you get beat, we're going to celebrate. If it's a hated rivalry like the 49ers, we're going to celebrate. Now, defending the star. Well, defending the star as a fan, as a player, George Teague is always in my illustrious Hall of Fame. I love George Teague. Where he took and defended that star, him and Emmett, and George tackled Terrell Owens at midfield. My brother, you're always in my family. And Terrell, you was on outs, and it took a long time for me to forgive you. But when you came to the team and you donned that star, I found out what it was like. When you go and you get saved and all your sins are forgiven. Well, T.O., your sins were forgiven when you donned that star, my friend, in my eyes. And a lot of people talk about our ownership. And I remember an episode of Hanging with the Boys on the Mothership station. And Jesse Hawley, Fourth and Long, was on there. And he was an ex-player for the Dallas Cowboys, and he didn't stay there all that long, but he moved on to another team. But he came back to do his media presentations. And I remember him saying, why am I here? Why am I able to do it? Why am I able to be a part of this organization? Because of that star. And he pointed to it in their studio, because everything related back to that star. That's the name of their facility, the Star. Again, Starstruck, my friend, Starstruck. And just to let you know, we're going to take one more commercial break. This will be our final commercial break for those listening on Fans First Sports Network. So please stay tuned for our last portion of our show. Welcome back. Again, I want you to take and hit me up on Instagram. I mean, not on Instagram, but Twitter, X now, I guess. Only X I know is Dez Bryant, baby. Dez, let's go. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know how we can improve this show. Let me know about how you became a fan. Any questions that you might have. How we can better incorporate you into this show and engage you. And if you want to be a future guest, let me know. Now, if you watched and listened to Dad and the Boys, you know my son kind of picked the Steelers on this game. And, you know, if you watched Out of Pocket yesterday, he kind of did the same thing. He stuck with his gut feeling, I guess. Me, I'm always going to pick the Dallas Cowboys, whether it be by 1 point or more. How do I feel this game is going to shape up? I do feel worried because we are down a lot of players and a lot of talent. Folks, there's no making up for Michael Parsons. There's no making up for DeMarcus Lawrence. There's no making up for Brandon Cooks in the lineup. We are down starters. It goes without saying that it's hard to replace it. I believe the next man up, it gives them a time to shine. But there again, you know, how do you replace star athletes? You don't. I mean, the NFL is not equipped to do that. You're not going to find a Michael Parsons on the street. If he was a Michael Parsons, he would be playing somewhere. You try to fill the gap and mitigate the devastation as best as possible. You know, we're going to go into this handicap, but it's not the first time that the Dallas Cowboys have ever been handicapped in a game. I do feel that we're going to walk out of there with a win. I do feel that our offense is going to come alive against the Steelers' vaunted defense. They're playing lights out this year. TJ Watt's looking for sack 100. Well, hopefully he won't get it this week, but even if he does, I do believe that Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb and Ezekiel Elliott and our offense will will us to victory, whether it be by Brandon Aubrey's foot or our defense stepping up. Who knows? I mean, it is going to be a tough game. I don't look for it to be a lopsided score either way. I don't know that the Steelers have been as good as their record has said they are. I'm not going to diss them. I went on record on Boom Broadcasting as saying I love Justin Fields. I liked him when he was in Ohio State. I was hoping that some way he would work his way to Dallas, but I knew that he wasn't going to take Dak Prescott's spot, and he wasn't going to be there. So, I mean, I pulled for him when he was with the Bears organization, and I applaud the Steelers for picking him up. I'm surprised that he has actually outplayed and maintained the starting role with Russell Wilson staying on the bench, since Russell was actually the predicted starter for their team. But I do believe that this game will boil down to Dallas winning, whether it be by 1 or 3. Dallas will walk away with a victory. Historically, their games have been by one score separation. This won't be a lopsided game, and I do believe Dallas pulls it out at the end of the game and walks away victorious. pushing our record to 3-2 and setting us up nicely for a run when our players do get healthy and come back. I look forward to sharing this moment in time with you going forward on Starstruck. And I know my son likes to take and give this episode, he'll say episode 1 or episode 3, episode 5, whatever, and give it by player's name. But I'm going to do that too on this show, because since it's our inaugural episode and it is number 1, I'm going to go a little old school, though. I'm not going to go with the current Jalen Tolbert. I'm going to go with one of my favorite players of old, Raphael Seption, the famous kicker for the Dallas Cowboys, whose foot put a lot of field goals in and put a lot of wins in the record books for the Dallas Cowboys. And I'm hoping that Mr. Aubrey follows suit this weekend and puts one through for us and helps us win at what used to be Heinz Field. I thank you for joining me today. I thank you for spending time with Boom Broadcasting and Fans First Sports Network on this inaugural episode of Starstruck. Again, like I said, hit me up on X and let me know what you're wanting to talk about, and we can definitely address that in future episodes. And as well, we can take and look at potentially having you on, because I would love to hear your story on how you became a fan. What inspired you to become a fan of the Dallas Cowboys? And he likes to have a catchphrase with the rodeo thing. This isn't our last rodeo. Well, guess what? It was actually in Dallas that I took him to his first rodeo there at Fort Worth Stockyards when he was a baby. So that's pretty cool that it ain't his first rodeo. And in the words of one former Texan, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. American Dreams had this saying. He said, second to none and has no equals. America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. Number 1 in your hearts, number 1 in your mind. God bless them. God bless you. And we'll see you next time from the face that made the face of Boom Broadcasting. This is Mack signing out from Starstruck. See you next week.